Hey, so do you feel like because of social anxiety, you are constantly avoiding things? You're avoiding going out and meeting new exciting people. You're avoiding hanging out with old friends. You're ducking out of career opportunities, and it's making you feel like you're living on the sidelines of your life, okay? So if that's something you are struggling with, something you are constantly experiencing, this constant avoidance, I'm gonna help you understand the internal mechanism that's at play here, how it's really detrimental to your self-esteem, and then how you can shift that so you can start taking action, stop avoiding, and step into your life. Okay, so let's get into this right now. All right, so if you're already a part of our tribe, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Rubin and I help individuals overcome social anxiety. So if that's something you're experiencing, consider hitting the subscribe button, and there's a bell notification beside it. Hit that so you can be notified as soon as I release new videos just like this one. And if you want to connect with me on a more personal level, follow me on Instagram and I'd love to hear from you on there. Okay, and so right from the start, it's very important that you understand there is one aspect of you, of me, of all humans that remains intact no matter what you've been through, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you do, no matter what you have. This aspect of you, it's infinite, it's unbound, there's no limits to it. It doesn't experience the negative thoughts and feelings that you experience from time to time, say when you're getting anxious and you're panicked and you're worried and you're avoiding. It's your soul, okay? We all have a soul. All humans have a soul. You could identify with your soul. You could call it your higher self, your true self, your authentic self, the greatness within you, okay? The lights, some people, there's many ways that you can identify with this, okay? But ultimately, this is the one thing that remains unshaken and consistent from the day you're born until the day you die, okay? And depending where you're at, you might be identifying closely right now with what you do, for example. You have a certain career, you're a part of a certain organization, you have a certain job title, okay? Or maybe you closely identify with being a son, brother, boyfriend, husband, whatever the case is, you identify with these labels. But the thing is all of these things, what you do in the world, these roles that you're playing, you can lose them at any time. You can lose your job, right? You could get demoted and not make as much money as you're making right now. People can pass away. You can lose relationships, okay? And this is extremely important that you understand that all of these things that you do in the world, all of these roles and things that you have, they're transitory. They can be lost at any moment, okay? But your soul can't. It remains intact through your entire experience here on earth. Okay, and it's important to understand that when you are experiencing this avoidance, okay? You're too nervous. What if you mess it up? I don't feel good enough. I don't feel worthy. Okay, so I'm just gonna avoid that thing. I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to look like an idiot. So you avoid that thing completely. This fear, okay, where is that coming from? It's not coming from your soul. It's not coming from your higher self. Your higher self doesn't experience these negative thoughts and feelings that you're bombarded with. Okay, where do these come from? They come from your personality. They come from, some people will call it the lower self. Some people will call it your inner child. You could call it the ego. You could call it frightened aspects of your personality, okay? That's where these low vibration feelings that originate from fear, that is where they originate from. And these are two mutually exclusive. And so every emotion that you experience, they can be bucketed into two buckets essentially, okay? All the joy, the contentment, the caring, compassion, the connectedness, the fun, the humor, all this, that is coming from love, okay? The panic, the fear, the worry, the doubt, the feeling like an imposter, all of these things, the people pleasing and feeling like you're inferior, that comes from fear, okay? And all human emotions, they either come from love or fear. So you can really simplify this down. And so let's get into the nature of love and fear. Love is expanding. Okay? When you feel love in your body, think about it. When you're with that person you're comfortable with and you're in that flow state and your true personality is coming out, what that is an expansion of your soul. It's an expansion of your higher self. It spreads and expands. So you can think about it this way. It's like we all have those days when we're in a low mood, we're in our negative minds, we're in our lower self, and you bump into that person who can just pull you out of it. They have such good energy, they're so caring, they're so compassionate, right? Or maybe they're just lighthearted and funny, and they can pull you out of that mood just like that. That is how powerful love truly is, okay? So it spreads from, for example, from the other person to yourself and expands, okay? It can come in and just gobble up the feelings of the lower self just like that, okay? Now, the lower self, or the feelings that originate from fear, panic, worry, the doubt, all of these feelings that are making you avoid going out with people, avoid taking those career opportunities, okay? They originate from childhood programming. They originate from social conditioning. They originate from bullying, criticism, shaming, all these things that you went through in the past. And what is the purpose of this fear? It's to suppress down your higher self, okay? To suppress down your higher self and to disconnect you from other people. That is the sole purpose of this fear. And if you're feeling like this fear is constantly suppressing down your true authentic expression, it's suppressing down who you truly are, and this true side, your soul, your authentic side is really wanting to come out, then I encourage you to book a coaching call. I'll put a link below the video. There'll be one up here as well. And I encourage you to book that call to learn how we can work together and tackle that together, how to lift this fear so your true expression can come out and play. And so let's get back to the nature of fear, okay? So remember, love, it spreads and expands, okay? Fear, it spreads, okay? But it is always returned and multiplied to who? The sender of the fear. So let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say you go into a conversation and you're extremely anxious, okay? Completely anxious, and you block your expression and you're just people pleasing and smiling and agreeing and you're not actually being yourself, okay? When you release your energy like that, when you release your energy exchange in a fearful way, just like that, okay? You're suppressing down your true authentic expression, okay? What happens is you start beating up on yourself more. You get in your head more. So remember, you try to release your energy in fear, and what happens is you get even more in your head. Now you're in your head, now you're thinking of what to say next, or now maybe you have an urge that you want to leave the conversation, you're so uncomfortable, and then what happens? Maybe you release, because the fear is multiplying now, maybe you make up an excuse. I gotta go, I gotta leave. And now that you release your energy in even more fear, exiting the conversation before you could actually make a connection, is now you're gonna be walking away, and you're gonna be walking away beating up on yourself. Oh my God, why did you say that? What's wrong with you? What does that person think of you? They probably don't like you anymore. You're gonna be stuck like this forever. So do you see this? Fear is always returned to the sender and multiplied, okay? It ends up in the cyclical loop within yourself, and actually what you'll be doing is you will be creating and sustaining your own anxiety. You'll be actually be creating your anxiety and making it worse depending on how you are exchanging energy with people and the world around you. Okay, so going back to this avoidance thing, let's say, for example, you want to apply to this promotion for work. You want to step into leadership. You've been busting your ass your whole life. You feel like you deserve some recognition. You want to jump into a leadership role. You want more responsibility, okay? But what comes up? All the self-doubt, the imposter syndrome. Oh my God, I'm going to be way too nervous, socially anxious to even do that position. And what happens? Because the fear was so strong, you avoided applying for the job. And you might think in your mind that it's no big deal. Oh, whatever, I'll get the next one. But really, remember, fear is always returned to the sender and multiplied. So it may seem like such a trivial little thing, oh, I'll just won't apply for the job. Okay, but what's going to creep in after that? You avoid applying for the job, and then your fear starts to multiply. Oh my God, what is life? My life's always been like this. I think you might be replaying stories from the past. I think it's because of my upbringing. I think it's because of that bullying I went through. I think it's because I never excelled in sports. I think it's because I had rocky relationships and I had really bad breakups. Okay, and so to bring it back here, that is why you are experiencing those feelings like you're on the sidelines of your life, okay? You're not fully stepping into your life. You're not living the deeply satisfying, fulfilling, and meaningful life that you could, okay? Because the ultimate goal for you should be to transcend your fear, to transcend your childhood and societal conditioning. That should be at the forefront of your goals, okay? So yes, it's about the leadership position, but it's about the fear that you get to transcend on the way. It's about the conditioning that you get to reprogram and transcend along the way. It's not necessarily about that new and exciting connection and those people that you want to go out with. It's about transcending the fears and the blocks that you're going to uncover on the way there, okay? It's not about that old friend group that invited you out and you're avoiding. It's about transcending the fear, maybe in the form of resentment or jealousy or envy or whatever these fears are. It's about being able to move beyond them. It's about transcending your lower self, your ego, okay? That's what it's truly about. Now, I'll give you an example here, because what you are developing, when you ask yourself your actions, is it coming from love or is it coming from fear, okay? You develop an internal compass. You develop an internal integrity. And when you develop this internal integrity, okay, that is when you're not thrown around by all of these external things that happen in your life. When you develop this internal integrity, that's when you stop caring what other people think. That's when you get bold. That's when you let this expansion of your soul and your higher self happen in a more fearless way. And if you need more help with this, again, the coaching call link is below the video. I encourage you to book that call so we can explore this together. And here's some other videos you can watch, in particular with the higher self and the lower self and the soul and the inner child and those negative feelings and how to separate and discern the difference between the two. So you can check those out next. Thank you for watching if you're still with me, and I'll see you in the next video, okay? Peace out.